Vicky. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday and happy Build Week Friday. I'm still in build mood. Can you tell? I still got my swag on. I'm still in that zone. It was a very fun week. It was an exciting week. How about you?
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. So many amazing Power Platform announcements that I was super excited about at Build. So it's been a great week.
100%. I also had there was some amazing .NET announcements, .NET 6 preview announcements, pretty exciting. My backpack session, like my session backpacks are like super full. I have so many things to catch up on. I did want to ask, there's a couple of sessions I have in my backpack with your name on it. How did those go?
Those went great. Yeah, I had the opportunity to participate in some of those table topics. So I did one on Dataverse for Teams with the Power Platform and Power Platform plus Azure. Those were super fun. You get to actually talk to people in the community and ask questions and answer questions and just have nice real life conversations. So it was really fun. I hear also, though, that there was some cool .NET news at Build too. You want to talk about?
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to overload everyone. There's already so many announcements. So instead, I've actually come with a blog post. The links are in our show notes. So it's just a .NET 6 MAUI, so multi-application platform UI, the announcement. So it's part of .NET 6 Preview 4. There's some more cool bits that are out there in the world to play with, some new installation, processes. So just check that out. It's in the blog post. I actually wanted to share something that's not build related. So part of like the Xamarin podcast that our good friend of the show, Matt Sukup, hosts, my colleagues, Dean and Alex, interviewed an amazingly cool customer called Blackboard. So they basically help provide a payment service for NGOs in the new COVID world where everything is digital. They basically have a service that lets you sort of handle kind of like the Square, touchless payments, but this is sort of customized to help NGOs. So the episode is live. There's a link to that in the show notes. So Xamarin Podcast, check it out.
Awesome. Adding that to listen to right after this for sure. Cool. Well, we have a great Hello World for you today, this Friday. So, of course, we have our MVP Spotlight coming up with Christian, Shannon, and Steve. We have Launch Space with Brian Bentz. We have 24 Hertz with Scott Stanfield and Diego's Wall. Before we dive into that, though, I forgot a piece of news I want to talk about for this weekend.
I was about to ask you.
Yes,
I was literally
totally forgot. I was so excited to start the show that I forgot about my little bit of news. So this Saturday, this weekend, two things I wanted to point out that are happening in the Power Platform space. One, we have Power Apps Developer Bootcamp. This is the last week of the weekend for that. So there'll be lots of great sessions there to learn all about Power Apps and the pro code side of things there, and a Q&A panel and everything. And then the other one is something called Tech Stylers. They're having their first anniversary. This is a great women in tech community for Power Platform that Foyan, one of our MVPs, started up about a year ago. So good anniversary going up for that. So really looking forward to participating in both of those this weekend. And I hope that if you are interested in Power Platform at all, you can check those out.
That's pretty awesome. I love good women in tech, women empowerment stories. Before we sort of get into the show though, I wanted to ask, okay, what were your top 3 favorite moments of Build? And I don't want to put you on the spot, so I can go. So my top 3 moments was, of course, Scott Hanselman's cool, keynote session. That was so good, so funny, and also very educational. So I love that. And my other favorite session was Scott Hunter's, because I'm biased to .NET. So, all the modern application, lifecycle that he shared, part of his .NET 6 keynote, that was pretty exciting. And there were a couple of Ask the Expert sessions that I found really entertaining. How about you?
Yeah, well, all of those, first of all, were amazing. And then for me, of course, I'm biased to the Power Platform. So the whole Power Apps ideas stuff, using AI to be able to generate formulas for you in Power Apps was just amazing. And all the pro dev type extensions with VS Code and everything, and ALM was really cool. So anyway, lots of great stuff. But speaking of which, let's get started with our Hello World Friday episode here. And we're going to turn it over to Christian for our MVP Spotlight. He has 2 MVPs with us this week. Hey, Christian.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, April. I'm really excited to introduce you to 2 MVPs that are going really above and beyond to invite, welcome, and include new MVPs to our technical communities, Steve Endo and Shannon Mullins. So Steve, can you tell us, what does it mean for you to be a part of the community?
Hi, Christian. I think over the last year, as I've had to transition into the Business Central, Microsoft Dynamics Business Central community, one of the things that I've learned and the community has been great at showing me about is that the community is very much about contributing. So everyone is coming together to contribute to the community to help build it. It's not about, hey, I want to join this community, or what can the community do for me? It's about, oh, this is a fun community. How can I help improve the community and make it better?
Absolutely. And speaking of contributing, Shannon, what are some of the ways that folks can stand out as they contribute to our technical communities? Shannon, we can come back over to you. Steve, can you tell me, how do you identify and champion for community, for folks in the community to be recognized for programs like the MVP Award?
Well, I tend to notice when people are contributing. So when they start a blog, when they're helping with tweets, when they're posting on forums, or when they're attending the conferences to speak, I notice those contributions to the community. And so when I met with Shannon and another MVP, Kristen, I saw their contributions and I said, hey, you're already speaking, you're already blogging, you're already contributing to the community. Let's get those contributions recognized and get you some additional support through the MVP program. And so I was able to nominate them and help mentor them through that process.
Absolutely. And Shannon, coming back over to you, what are some of the ways that you feel a person in the community can stand out so that they can be recognized for an award?
Yeah, we get a lot of this. I help mentor. I'm very involved in the community. I get a lot of people reach out via LinkedIn and Twitter and all means, just wondering, like, how can they get involved? How can they become an MVP? How can they, be part of the community? And my recommendation is that you follow the MVPs, whether that's on Twitter, LinkedIn. You follow shows like this. You come to conferences. Get on the chat forums. Just get to know people and follow them. And then if you feel comfortable, that's really where you can start stepping in and being involved. But it's, community is everything. And so if you don't show up to anything or you don't make that time, it's really, really hard to do. So I recommend, getting as involved as you can.
Absolutely. And speaking about getting involved and stepping into the community, what are some of the ways that folks around the world can get started?
Yeah, so it's, it's kind of hard to do. I recommend getting a mentor. Steve was a very, very good mentor to myself, to Kristen, to Mary, to several folks in the community. But he was willing and went above and beyond to do that. So I recommend finding an MVP that's willing to mentor you, and maybe reach out to 2 or 3 and see who has time. Also, like I said, join local events, join meetups. We have a Women in Tech meetup that happens every month. We're mentoring women to get into women in tech, which is really exciting. We're trying to build this girl power and it's really much needed in the tech space. It's just one of those areas. We just did a huge webinar last month just talking about how much the disparity is in the tech space. So get involved, and this isn't to discourage males, because obviously we love males too, but anyone just needs to get involved, follow the MVPs, go to live conferences, get to know people. And that's really the best way to get involved and get to know people.
Absolutely. Now, you're leading a really cool effort. Can you tell us more about your group and some of the speakers that you have?
Yeah, so we actually have been doing almost like a, I call it The View, but we're much nicer to our guest speakers. But we bring on every month a women or a woman, just depending, a group or a single person who's making a difference in the community, whether they're an owner, whether they're an MVP, whether there's someone who wants to be in that space. And we're having them just talk, and we're talking real life issues, harassment, pay equality, things like that. So it's really, really cool. I'll put the link out in the chat, and feel free to join us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Steve and Shannon. We really appreciate you pointing out all these leaders across our communities and helping us get them recognized and awarded. April, back over to you.
Thanks, Christian. That was great, Steve and Shannon. And Squeaky, I know you and I both are really passionate about women in tech, so it was really cool to hear about that group, and definitely get involved in that if you are a woman in tech or a male ally. So.
Yeah, for sure. I love women in tech stuff too. And I just wanted to throw in a reminder for everyone watching. We have a live chat, so feel free to share your thoughts, your questions. We're here to answer them and share whatever you need.
Absolutely. Okay, well, moving on, let's talk with Brian Bent about LaunchSpace. Hey there, Brian. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
Pretty good. Excited to hear all about LaunchSpace. What is it? Tell me more.
Yeah, sure. So the LaunchSpace is a show that was created to highlight new releases and new offerings on Azure and beyond. So check us out at aka.ms/the LaunchSpace. We broadcast normally on Thursdays, 1 p.m. We do have other shows that come out that are to accommodate other time zones and speakers in other time zones. But normally we're on Thursdays, 1 p.m. on Learn TV. So check out all the shows, aka.ms/Learn TV. I did want to talk about a few shows that we have coming up as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I see. I kind of checked out on Learn TV there what you had. So excited to see what you have coming up.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, here's the show page. So aka.ms/Learn TV. We've got a few shows coming up. So July 1st, we have a show that's going to be all about static web apps. They're going to be GA, but there's some other shows I want to talk about as well. We have all of our archive shows here. We've had 16 so far, and they're 1-hour episodes. So we go into a lot of depth about a specific topic related to a new release. Surface Duo, that was a fun one, talking all about all of the considerations that you have to do for building multi-screen apps. So it's not just applicable to Surface Duo. Any multi-screen app, there's a lot of considerations there. And I personally learn a lot when I'm in these sessions and watching these shows. We got great guests. So anyway, you can check it out at aka.ms/the LaunchSpace. And just to highlight a few shows that are coming up in the next few weeks. The first one coming up is next Thursday. It's tools for DevSecOps on GitHub and Azure. And Steve Murawski is going to talk about a new tool that was released at Build, actually. Here's his Build session. You can find it if you go to mybuild.microsoft.com and sign in or not, look for the session. It's a tool that actually scans containers and checks for vulnerabilities in the container itself and in any dependencies, which is cool. It was released at Build and announced at Build, and we're going to go into more depth. The session he had at Build was only 30 minutes, so he couldn't cover some of the topics. We'll be covering them in more detail on our show. That's June 3rd. Next up is June 9th, we have OpenAPI. So we're going to talk about OpenAPI and its ability to connect with Azure Functions, Power Platform, and Logic Apps. That's going to be a cool one as well. We have Brady Gaster and Justin Yu. Justin actually was one of, if not the creator of this. And this is going to be a special show. It's Wednesday, June 9th at 4 p.m. And that's to accommodate the APAC time zone audience, as well as Justin, who is in the APAC time zone for speaking. So
Awesome.
we're not going to make him get up at 4 a.m. for that. So.
Well, I'm looking forward to that one. I work with Justin here on the advocacy team, and yeah, he put a lot of hard work into that Fusion Dev learning path there, and the Open API and the stuff. So I'm looking forward to watching that myself.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So we've got a nice mix of things that were covered at Build and things that weren't covered at Build. On June 17th, I don't have a show page for this yet. We're still working on it, but we have some coverage of new releases that related to Microsoft 365, specifically Teams and Graph. That's going to be fun as well. Daisy Chaussee and some select guests are going to be there for that. But as I mentioned before, July 1st as well, we have Azure Static Web Apps GA. That's going to be a cool one. There's going to be a sort of a large event around that, or June 30th. So July 1st, we'll be covering that in a show with, it's actually going to be Burke Holland speaking there. And we always have new shows coming up. So check out the show page at aka.ms/the LaunchSpace.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking for the Azure Static Web Apps one too, because I know that was a big announcement that it's GA now and released. So really cool to have some of these sessions that go a little bit deeper, things that were announced at Build, but get to hear more about the technical side of things and more events. So looking forward to it. Hey, Thanks, Brian. Okay, Sweeky, so how about you? Are you pretty excited about watching some of these sessions too?
100%. I was just taking note of the DevSecOps one. I love learning how to get more secure with, Azure and GitHub. Very important nowadays. So, definitely I'm going to go check that show out. Very, very excited for it. All right. let's move on, because guess who's back? Our good friend Scott. Scott's been away for a while. Looks like he's been on like a discovery journey, and now he's here to share with us
Hey.
something new and something
Yeah,
that
it's good to have
doesn't
you back.
blow up. Yeah.
It's been a busy week. We had build. So I had a vacation. Now build. Now I need another vacation. But I'm gonna do something really fast. I'm gonna do a speed run to install to get the Linux on Windows 10, and hopefully under 5 minutes. So I've got my timer here.
Let's
I'm
do
gonna
it.
jump straight into this because I'm really excited. In fact, I rewrote my talk this morning. I got 9 to take advantage of this. And so
This is amazing. So this is speedrun version of what you shared Tuesday. Am I getting this right?
Yeah, and I had some troubles actually sharing my screen, so we're going to redo it. But before I was using a program called Scoop, which feels a lot like if you're a Mac user, we use Homebrew or Brew.
Mhm.
But WinGet was announced this week, so I thought I would redo the WinGet. It wasn't announced; it was released, version 1. So WinGet allows you to install programs from the
Yep.
command line. And so I'm going to go and install this. So if I go into releases, you'll see down here this app bundle. Now, I've practiced this talk a couple times because I want to make sure I could remove everything and reinstall it. So if I run this little installer here, I think the plans are, this is part of the preview. This infrastructure to install programs from the command line will be part of the full, Windows path. But
Yep.
so I already have this installed. It's no big deal. I'll reinstall.
Yeah, this is pretty
it.
great. Yeah, like you said, this is like similar to apt-get for our Linux friends, similar
Yeah,
to Homebrew
totally.
for our Mac friends. Yep.
And I just once I get down to the command line, it means I can reproduce this easily. I have a little gist I'll link out later. But now I'm at the command line and I have this new program, WinGet. And from here, remember, I just used this morning. Like, it's that new to me. So I can list all the terminal apps. And I want to get to something modern, which is WinList, sorry, because I don't have it installed. I have to search for it. So I'm going to search for terminal. And there's the one I want. So I'm going to install Windows Terminal. By the way, I would love it if we had a way to install things all lowercase, no spaces, so I don't have double quotes, and I don't have to use a shift key. Okay,
For
so
sure,
I'm installing
for
Windows
sure.
Terminal.
Yeah, curious you picked terminal and not terminal preview because I'm a preview gal. I'm curious
Oh
to get
yeah,
that.
yeah. You know what? Yeah. Cool thing is, later I could just do uninstall this and just install the preview, and I like it
Nice.
because I could just easily test things. So
Excellent.
that worked. Now from PowerShell, I can launch Windows Terminal with WT, the shortcut for that. Now it looks like just another terminal. In fact, it looks like we've stepped back a little bit because the default colors aren't as nice. But bear with us for a second. So now we have that. Now I'm going to install something else. So I'm going to search for all the WSL packages, and I want Debian. So I'm going to do WinGet install Debian. And this is so fast. There's all kinds of magic behind here because to do this on Mac OS, I'd have to do it all through Docker.
100%. I know. We were discussing this pre-show too, but yeah, like managing environments on Mac, like that first day install setup, it's like a 24-hour day. Like, what are you doing today? I'm setting up my new machine.
And okay. Well, the reason with this one failed, I even have my notes, Scott. Don't forget to type force. That's because I've already installed it. So when I installed it and then it update, the SHAs don't match. Whatever. This will work. And how are we doing on time? I've got a
Not
luxurious
terrible. Just under 2 minutes. Yeah, I think this will work.
Now, there's a one-time run of Debian.exe, and this is to set up my default user, which
Gotcha.
I'm going to just type in Scott. So I need to do this one time and set up my password, and now I'm in. Now let me quit everything. Let me just kind of roll all the way back out because now I have Windows Terminal, which I'm going to run and then pin it to my taskbar. I'm going to move it right here because the most important thing for me is Windows 1 for the browser, and then Windows 2 will get me back here. And then because I now have Debian, I have this shortcut right here, Control-Shift-5. I would also go back in and do a couple things, make my default my home here, and then bring up the typeface, the font. And also, anytime you're on a new sudo apt-get update, yes, I got to type in my password. Okay, so this is the first thing I do with any new Linux install. It's just update.
Right.
And update is a little confusing. Update just gets all the URLs to where to find new packages. So to install a new package, it's sudo apt install. And I always do calsay. That's my little hello world. I'm also going to run another one called Hollywood. And this is kind of fun. Now, it just prompted me for what's my default language in my keyboard layout. So because it's a clean install, it doesn't presume any of that. And this goes pretty quick. It's also laying down because Hollywood uses a lot of other programs. It's putting Python.
I can
on
see
here.
that. Yeah, it's pulling in a lot of stuff. Yeah, like
cool.
so Hollywood. This is a fun little name. What is Hollywood, Scott? Why Hollywood?
Well, it's a program that literally does show up in the back of. Well, I got to show CalSay. Okay, hello world. This used to be the thing I would show just to make sure it works. It's very cute. Hollywood is what I leave running on my machine, usually in the background here, so it looks like I'm doing something. But now, this little program really has made its way onto Hollywood movies. And the really amazing thing is that it was one of the main contributors is Dustin Kirkland, who was the VP of Canonical. And I sat next to Dustin at the Build conference in San Francisco. I think at the time it was PDC. And the day that Microsoft announced Windows Subsystem for Linux. So I just realized that he not only kind of helped Microsoft make this happen, but he also wrote Hollywood, which is the coolest command line program ever. So we made it in 5 minutes. Linux.
All right. Super exciting. That was great. Thank you for increasing our pseudo productivity. Now I know what to run in the background. I'm going to run Hollywood. April, what are you? Are you a command line gal too?
Yeah, a little bit. Especially now that I know about that Hollywood. I mean, heck, now I know how to look like I'm busy and actually doing something really cool.
Yep. So I'm going to let you go install Hollywood so you can get that set up. I'm going to get in our next segment. So my favorite segment every Friday, Diego's Wall. Hello, Diego.
Hello, Swiki. Hello, April. And hello, world. I'm here, Swiki, with my wall, and I'm celebrating the formation of the Green Software Foundation that Microsoft announced 2 days ago. And in honor of that, I actually want to celebrate it by giving you some good news, followed by some bad news, but then followed by some good news again. And is that okay?
Yep, give me the sandwich. Hit it.
So I don't know if you noticed, but lately, and this was before the pandemic as well, there is this notion when you look at the news on your social network, there is this sense that the world is trending bad. Things are getting worse and worse and worse. And in some cultures, this is so embedded. Where I'm from, originally Argentina, it's so embedded in the culture, this idea that things are trending down, that our main song genre, the music genre, tango, all the tangos do is they complain and express sorrows. Most every tango you'll hear is about a woman that left me, or I lost money gambling, or there's one called Siglo XX Cambalache. Actually, I'm gonna play a little bit. For those who speak Spanish, here we go. Que el mundo fue y será una porquería, ya lo sé. En el 506 y en el 2000 también, pero aunque el siglo XX es un despliegue de maldad insolente, ya no hay quien lo niegue. Okay, something like that. You can see the rest of the internet. Here's the thing, Swiki, the post I'm going to show you is the data that show this is not the case. Of course, this is pre-pandemic again, but things were getting better actually. Look at this. This graph, even if you cannot see the actual numbers, you can see that these lines are going up. Every country, every region in the world. This is the average years of school that people go from the 1800s to now, going up. This is access to the internet from 1990s to now. Look at this, all going up. This is literacy rate from the 1400s right here to now, all the regions in the world going up. This one is extreme poverty. From the 1980s to now, all the lines now going down, extreme poverty going down. This one is percentage of disposable income that people spend on food. So of all the money you make, or your salary every month, how much you need to spend on food, and then it's going down from 1960 to now, it's going down. So when you look at the numbers, and there are more and more and more metrics, and you can look it up, of course, on the internet, you can see that things are actually getting better. Again, I'm caveat the pandemic, but we're gonna get over the pandemic. So the world, that's the good news. The world is getting better. Now there's some bad news. Like the way that this got better is that we built, it was through technology, and that's great. But we built our whole technology, our whole civilization, our whole economy on fossil fuels. We went down to the earth. We got those dinosaurs. And that is because, it's creating a lot of gases that is trapping the heat. global warming. We're heading for disaster. Okay, so that's the bad news. The technology that got us to this very good place, it's also getting us to disaster. So that's the bad news.
Is that why you sang that song? Can you translate a bit of that song for us?
It says that the world is always in a mess and it's still a mess, but now more than ever. Now it's more than so. But here's the thing. Here's the good news, and this is why I want to recommend this book from Jeremy Rifkin. It's called Empathic Civilization from Jeremy Rifkin. He also wrote the Green New Deal. Here's the story. Here's the paradox, and Sweek, I love paradox. The paradox is that the same technology advancement that got us into this pickle, that accumulated this bill, this eco bill that we have to pay, is the same technology that can get us out of it. So instead of slowing down on technology, now more than ever, we have to double down on technology. We have to digitally transform, we have to double down, but we have to do it in a conscious way. And that's why I celebrate the formation of the Green Software Foundation that Microsoft is a part of. I'm very proud of that. So that's the good news. The good news is it's still not too late to literally save ourselves, save our biosphere, which we are a part of. We're totally a part of the whole thing. Save the planet so it doesn't become like a waterless rock. We can do it, and we can do it through technology by empowering the planet. All the things that we're doing here at Microsoft, being conscious about it. But we have to have the sense of urgency. So I celebrate Green Software Foundation, and I celebrate all the things that all the other companies are trending in that direction. And what do you think so far about this?
I absolutely love it. I'm so proud that Microsoft and all the other tech giants are being conscious about all the decisions they're taking, especially with the environment. And I'm very proud that Microsoft is taking such a strong step ahead here. Very, very happy. Go.
Perfect. That's all I have for you today, but I'll have more for you next time.
Awesome. All right, let's bring April back. So April, are you also excited that we're part of this great new foundation?
Definitely. I was super excited to hear that announcement, and I loved Diego's message that it's not too late and that technology can help us with this. And I've been really passionate about this. I was reading How to Avoid a Climate Disaster. That's the book I'm currently reading to learn, educate myself on it a little bit more. So super excited to see all the companies, including Microsoft, investing in this.
100%. Well, it's been a great show. Let's bring all our friends back in. So we had the MVP segment. So we had Christian, Steve, and Shannon. Hey guys, thanks for coming on and sharing. Shannon, do you want to give a quick shout out about where we can check out your meetup group?
Yeah, I put actually on the links out in the chat. We have a Twitter group. We also have a meetup. So if you go to Meetup and you register, you'll be registered for our events. We usually meet the last week of each month. And I'd be excited to see some of the faces there.
Awesome. All right, then next up we had Brian. Hey Brian, do you want to remind everyone again where and when we can catch LaunchSpace?
Yes, normally Thursdays, 1 p.m. on Learn TV. But if you go to aka.ms/the launch space, you'll see the upcoming lineup and new guests.
Awesome. And then we had Scott not blowing something up today. Hey Scott.
Yeah.
So where can everyone go? Yeah, where can we go get that WinGet CLI hotness?
I just posted a GitHub gist on my
nice.
Twitter account. If you follow me at C#. And we'll get it in the show notes so people can come back to AKA MS Hello World to find the link to it.
Awesome. And of course, Diego. Hey Diego, so what's our homework this week?
If we do the homework and become self-aware as a species, we realize we are part of the biosphere. We are not above it. We are part of it. We'll be all right. Let's do the homework and we'll be all right.
Okay, got it. Notes taken. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for coming on the show, and thank you for everyone who's watching. It was great. So please don't go away. Stay tuned. We have Seth Juarez coming up next with the AI live show. And so everyone here on Hello World, let's say goodbye. It's been class today.